guys, this is Dawn with Around Castle County, and today we are visiting with Tara Collins, which, me and Tara's been friends for a very long time.
Long
She was
time.
actually my very first boss here in Atlanta.
I wasn't much older than you either.
No, actually, you were younger.
I-
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
younger than like
yeah.
the age that I
Oh,
am
I was
now.
in my 20s.
Yeah,
You were in your teens.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was a young
You were
boss.
that young? Wow, well, she was excellent.
Mhm.
One of the best
Yeah.
bosses I have ever had. And
I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I did it anyway.
You do it. Sometimes that's the best way is just jump out there and do it, right? But we've known each other for a very long time. Like you said, I was a DECA student, and so she hired me on and fell in love with her and everybody that worked there. Still friends with a lot of them today, and which is really kind of cool.
It is cool.
So today we're going to talk to Tara about her art. She's been doing art for as long as I can remember, right? But
Long time.
the older you get, the more you're getting into
I
it.
do.
She calls it Tara's therapy a lot. And tell us a little bit about that, what you do.
Well, basically, I kind of narrowed it down because I used to do all kinds of art, and I had so much stuff and was running out of room in the house because I'd taken over pretty much every room in the house, with all my different kinds of crafts and art and everything. And so I tried to narrow it down. Mostly do acrylics with mixed media and torn paper art. Okay, so I kind of narrowed down. I started getting rid of a lot of my stuff and giving it here and there. I give away more than I don't sell that much. I mostly just give it to bring joy. Brings me joy, brings the person that gets it joy.
Right.
So that's my favorite thing. It's just therapy. It's very therapeutic. After I quit teaching, I wanted to have something. Goes the train. Wanted to have something that occupied my time so I wouldn't just sit and do nothing. And so I just get in there and play. I go to a lot of workshops, and I did have a little studio for a little while, almost a year.
Yeah.
And
Well, I know you had classes there.
yeah, I had classes there.
And since then, you've kind of went mobile with your
Yeah,
classes.
I just go mobile. I called it Art in a Cart for a while
Very good.
because
Oh,
I
no.
carry all my stuff in a cart, and I'll come to you. If you got a big enough place, depends on how many people you have. I try to have it at local places so people can come, and I've had up to almost 25 people at a time, but it's fun.
Yeah, it
It's
is
a
good.
follow the leader type of paint party, kind
Right.
of like painting with a twist.
Mhm.
I draw it on there for them, and then they follow me.
Okay, so
Well,
yours
some
is
people
actually
follow me. Jim Davenport never follows
Jim
me.
Davenport doesn't follow
No, and then I
anybody.
had to draw him something totally different than what everybody else was doing. But I love him.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta love it.
I love him.
I mean, that's if you
Yeah.
didn't, we'd think something was wrong. with it.
Exactly.
So there's a couple of different kinds of art that you really specialize in that you really like. Tell us about that and kind of how you do it.
Okay. Well, mixed media, because you really can't mess up mixed media. It's just your vision of what you want to do, and it's called ephemera.
Okay.
And what I do is I go around to like junk stores, places like that, antique stores, and I find just neat things and collect them. And then I use them in my art. And I didn't have a piece of mixed media that I could show you. I probably did, but I didn't bring it. So we'll show that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just a mixture of different things, on one canvas. And then I've gone to a lot of workshops with a famous artist. Her name is Elizabeth St. Hilaire. She taught me how to do the paper collage.
And you really like that, right?
That's my favorite.
That's our favorite. All right, so tell us exactly what that is. So I know this is that,
Yeah.
but tell me about it.
Well, first you paint the painting. You draw off what you want to do, or some people just paint without a drawing. They just take off. I like to have something visual first so I can follow something.
Right.
So when I painted this, it was just acrylics, all kinds of acrylics. And then I keep this special paper beside me, and whatever I have left on my brush, I just clean my brush off on that paper. And then when it's all dry, usually the next day I'll start the paper. And I take the paper and I tear it in the shapes. Like all this is paper.
Okay.
And some of this is paper.
Right.
And now not all of it's
Yeah, I see
paper.
like music notes here, so that's paper there.
That's paper. Yeah, I use all kinds of stuff. Like I use sheet music. I use book pages from old,
Oh,
that
that's
people throw
kind of
away
cool.
books. And that special paper, it's real thin and it's real easy to tear and it absorbs the paint. And so I use it. And then sometimes I go back over it a little bit. I'll take my brush and just kind of glob. I have some paint that's thicker, than others. So I use that just to kind of give it
It gives it texture.
texture. It
3D.
doesn't look flat. Like, see, this is all flat.
Yeah. Now, all this, there's no paper up here.
No paper up there. That's all paint.
All right.
So I wanted these lemons to pop. So once you keep adding layer after layer, it looks like it's,
Yeah.
pops out.
I love that. And, I was just sitting, and you may already do something like this, but you can literally do like memoir photographs. Have you ever done that before?
I have not.
So something that you could do is like if we had like a special piece of music that reminded you of their mother or something like that, you could draw whatever picture they wanted, but use the sheet music of their thing and call it like a memoir painting.
Well, the teacher that taught me how to do all this, she does a lot of that. She takes her kids are grown, but she takes her kids old school papers, old writings, and she incorporates it into her art somewhere.
Somewhere. That is really cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
I used to try to put a bird in everything, and then I love birds. So seems like birds.
Oh,
and I love birds.
Yes,
But I kind of got away from that. But if you looked hard enough, you could probably find something that made me look like a bird right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does with its head and everything.
Bluebird.
Yep, there you go.
So that's actually my favorite color. It's called painting with paper because you don't just throw paper on there. You make it like you were painting it on there. So you tear it in the shape of what your design is.
It's more than just throwing it up there. It's something that you got to think
If you just
about.
put it up there, I think it's called collage. But when you're actually painting with paper, you try to do it the shape of the.
So like the green here, you got it.
I wanted it to be the leaves.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. And those colors are amazing together.
I love those colors.
I love those colors too.
My favorite color is blue.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you about blue here in just a minute when we go to the next painting.
Okay.
And I love gold. Gold just makes it pop.
Yep, it does. I love that. I got a picture from you. It's a sunflower, and it's that in this
sunflower.
I do too. It's hanging up in my little house.
And that was paper.
Yes, that was paper. Yeah, and I love it. Is
also use napkins.
Okay.
They have layers. You have to pull the back layers
but it makes
off.
them that thin.
But it makes it thin, and you kind of have to be careful because it'll tear real easy. So you can't just go.
Yeah.
Now
This
paper's a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
So I don't have that problem with it.
Now, do you do this for yourself, just by yourself sometimes, or
Most
you always,
of the time?
Okay.
Sometimes I take a class. Sometimes I go up to Texarkana and with Shay, that teaches at TISD. She does a class on Tuesday nights at Redbone Brewery, and she'll have 25, 30 people in there.
Wow.
And then she always tells me, "I know you don't need my help, but if you do, just holler." I said, "Sometimes I need your help."
Absolutely.
But she says, "I know what you're going to do with it. You're going to take it home and you're going to put your paper on it." So this is one of the paintings I did in one of her classes.
Okay.
Then I took it home
and finished
paper.
That's right. We put the terracotta
I had to put the terra on it. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, now we have another picture here, which has that brilliant blue again.
Yes.
I love that. Now this one's shiny.
Yes, I put a resin on it.
Okay, resin.
This is resin on it. This was all acrylics that I used with a palette knife.
Okay.
And this too, I did real thick paint here. And then, of course, if I had to add some glitter.
Yes.
But then when I completely got finished with the whole thing, I put a resin core over the top of it. So it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
And I don't think it'll fade either.
I don't think so either. So tell me about that.
So I got to tell you about this one. So I took this course in North Carolina with what was called a spiritual retreat.
Okay.
Well, I'm thanking God because I go to a lot of, Bible-based, Christian-based workshops.
Right.
And, so I could be around other people, that just feed your soul, feed your spirits, do all the things. So I thought,
So you're in
So
this
I
retreat.
so I sign up for the spiritual retreat.
Yes.
Yes, I get there. I'm in North Carolina. It's absolutely gorgeous
Oh, I
there.
love the Carolinas.
I went
Very
by
pretty.
these poppy fields and wildflower fields, and I thought I have died and gone to heaven, and it
Yes.
was in the mountains, and yeah, it was just so much fun. So I pull up to her house, and there's probably about 12 women there, and I get out. When I open the door, I'm not going to name the artist, but first thing I see is Buddha on the table. Now I'm thinking spiritual. Ooh, but I'm like, you know what? It's okay because I know who's in my heart.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought it was a 3-day workshop, and I thought, if I can't handle it after the first day, I should
can
go
leave.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, she had incense burning, and she put oils on us, and we actually did some fun things. We did some yoga, we did some grounding, and I do that.
Yeah.
I walk around barefoot in my
Well, you know me,
yard.
I'm an old girl, so
I had some oils on me too, and girl, that oil smelled so good. And I thought, well, hey, I do oils, so that's okay. If they start chanting some kind of Buddha thing, I might have to leave. But anyway, first thing she said to me was, she said, "Where are you from?" And she says, "Your accent." And I said, "Can you guess?" She said, "I'm thinking Texas, somewhere south." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm actually from Virginia. I was born in Virginia, but I grew up in Texas. So I definitely have the Texas one."
oh yes,
She
we do.
said, she said, "Yeah, I hear it." She said, "But I got to tell you something." And she went like this, and she said, "Your aura is blue." Well, I've always been told that blue was my color. And my birthstone is blue. It's sapphire. And I paint with a lot of blue. I notice when I look at my paintings, I've got blue in almost all of them. So I tend to lean towards the blues, the turquoises, the purples, those colors. Yeah. They're just so pretty. And I like bright colors.
Yeah.
So anyway, she said, has something happened to you lately where you feel like you need to be freed from something? I thought, oh Lord, is she gonna get out the tarot cards? And I'm like, well, yeah, been kind of having a little difficult time. I said, but that's why I do these art retreats, and when I saw spiritual, I was thinking, okay, this will be good. My heart needs help too. Wasn't that spiritual, but it was a different spiritual, but it was okay.
It was your
It was
own.
okay. She said, "Well, I just see you just got this blue aura about you." And she said, "And I don't mean in a bad way, not a sad blue aura." She said, "A shiny, bright, glittery, setting free from something." So I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'll take that. So then we all went outside and we did the grounding thing and everything. I'll try to make this quick. It's really long, but I'm like a quick. I'm gonna do the short version. And she anointed our feet with oil, and I think, okay, they anoint feet in the Bible with
Absolutely.
oil. And she said, asked us all what our favorite flower was, and we were talking about flowers and everything, and then what our favorite insect was, and I said butterflies, moths, whatever. Well, I found this right when I got there, and she said it's actually a moth.
Uh-huh.
And she said, if you read about moths, they go toward the light. I said, well, that's what I was striving for, to go toward the light. So I'm thinking, okay.
That kind of gets
I
me
had no
chills.
I know, me too. I got him too. I said, I had no idea what I was going to paint, when I got there. But she first started us off with just this practicing, just making strokes. And we sang, and she had music on, and we danced around the room. And then we'd come back and we'd do strokes on our canvases. I didn't bring that one, but it was pretty cool. It was just strokes and with chalk and to music, and we drew flowers on it, or whatever that we loved. So it was all very uplifting
Mhm.
and, lighthearted and
Motivational.
everything. And everybody there was just precious and sweet and everything. So when I saw that, I said, okay, I got to have that. Can I use that in mine? She said, yeah, take it. So anyway, long story short, the blue, of course, for my aura, the light, and then and and then when I got home, I added this.
I think
Added
this is
this.
so cool.
And I was thinking, fly, forever love yourself is what I came up with. And there's really a whole lot of acronyms.
I love it.
But I say to myself, even if you feel like things aren't going your way, you still have to love yourself for who you are
Absolutely.
and what you are and what you believe in And you don't have to accept some of the things they're saying.
Right.
But if you know who you are, which that's so important for everybody to know who you
Absolutely.
are,
Absolutely.
because you're not going to do well in this world if you don't know who you are
That's
first.
right. Right.
And so I thought, yeah,
That's
forever
perfect.
love yourself.
and I've never really seen something attached.
Yeah,
to
I don't know
this.
what made me do that. Well, I found this paper and I painted, and then of course I had to put some of the glitter
Of course.
on the letters. But it's just, I've got it on my wall in my art room, and if I'm having a day, say, remember,
That's right. Remember.
remember, forever love you.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
fly
love
toward the
that.
light. So I
Yes.
continually try to fly toward the light.
And as Christians, we should, right?
Yes,
I mean,
because
with God being our light, we are
Yeah,
always striving
so-
to be more like Him. Absolutely.
everything I paint, I usually pray over it, and ask the Lord, what do you want me to do with this? Is this for somebody? Is this just for me? Am I donating it? So I donate a lot of paintings for different
Different
things that are
things.
going on.
Right.
I give,
Now, you also
give,
give away a
I
lot.
give away a lot of paintings. I
Yeah.
run out of rooms. All my walls are full of art.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also have art that I get I try to buy a piece of art from every artist that I take a workshop from. Some of it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
They're proud of their art, but it sells.
Yeah.
Like the lady that teaches me this, her stuff sells for $2, $3, $4, $5,000.
That's
I can't
amazing.
get $40 for a painting, but whatever. So I just give it away. If God is going to bless me.
Absolutely.
It comes back
Yeah.
sevenfold.
Absolutely, it does.
So
Now, there's a lot of different venues that you, like I said, you go to Texarkana.
I go to Texarkana. I go to Shreveport.
Shreveport.
Bossier.
Okay.
Bossier. Cheryl Patillo, my really good friend, her son is a part owner at Flying Heart Brewery. So last year, once a month, I went and did a paint class. I mean, I taught it at his brewery on Sunday afternoons, and it was good.
Yeah.
It's good. And we had a lot of fun. And then it kind of trickled down, died off. People got real busy. So we put it on hold for a little while. But I may do some this summer there and probably do some more around here this summer. Everything just got really busy.
Yeah.
People may be traveling, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Never know.
hey, we'll try it.
There you go.
We'll see.
Now, there are different ways that people could find you. I
Mhm.
know you have an Instagram. You've got a
Instagram. I got a Facebook page.
And tell me about your Facebook page. Is that going right now?
Yes, Tara's Therapy. Both of them, my Instagram and my Facebook are both. I do have a personal one too, just Tara Collins, and then my Instagram is Tara from Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Tara from Texas. I have to look.
Yeah, if they want to set up a party, what's the best way? Do you want to
Call me.
Okay, so what is your number?
903-277-9003.
Right, and you can teach a lot, but what's the happy number for a party or for a class?
Well, actually, it depends on where we're having it at.
Okay.
But for me to not go in the hole by buying all the supplies, canvases, paint, I pretty much have everything and I keep everything in stock. But occasionally people will ask for a certain size canvas that I might not have. And sometimes I can talk them into a smaller one or a bigger one. But if they specify and I don't have it, well, then I've got to invest in getting canvases. And so it really depends on that. I don't charge a whole lot. Like most of my paint classes are 11 by 14 and it's $35.
Okay.
So pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
It's usually 2.5 hours.
Okay.
2.5 hours of fun.
Yeah.
We have fun. And I usually do giveaways. And if I have pop-ups, which I do have pop-ups come a lot and set up, and they sell their stuff. And so they give me a little bit of money towards paying the deposit on the building.
On the spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I usually have to pay anywhere from $100 to $125 to rent a building around here.
Right. Yeah. I know when I was doing like the Young Living and that kind of thing, it does. The room, people don't realize that there's a cost in that, but you have to definitely get that. So around $35. You also do kids classes.
I did.
Okay. You're not doing those anymore?
No, I turned over my studio to Terry Shravers that works at Cobblestone.
Okay.
And she is amazing. She taught school art. Public school. And she does all kinds of art. And I basically was just doing acrylics with the kids and I tried to do torn paper art, but they didn't really get into it
Yeah, they're
too much.
kinda
They're like,
they move too
that
fast.
takes too long, you know. So I tried to do other things, with them, but she's in my where I
Spot, okay,
was. It's called Artist in Bloom.
okay,
I think that's the name of it on her page.
okay.
I'd have to look that up and make sure. But she worked part-time at Cobblestone, and she does a lot of their decorating at
Alright,
Cobblestone.
okay.
And she's actually not from here. She and her husband just moved here just a few years ago, and they're fixing up an old house. And she's very, very creative and precious too. And she's good with kids.
Very
So I advise anybody that wants to get their kids into art lessons.
Yep.
She teaches drawing. She teaches chalk,
all of that.
all of it.
Okay.
I mean, I think
And what's her name again?
Terry Shriver.
Shrivers.
Mm-hmm.
Shrivers?
I think it's Schryvers.
Okay.
I think that's how you pronounce it, Shrivers.
So in the future, I know we've
Mhm.
already got some art classes going on and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. What do you want with your paintings? I mean, I know there's a
I
lot of
really don't know right now.
okay,
I'm
still
kind of in a
undecided.
season right now where I just got out of the studio in March, and she took over the studio in March, and I've kind of just been in limbo, just painting. For
Just enjoying
therapy,
it
just
for yourself.
enjoying it for myself. I have done a few commissions. I painted some dogs, people's pets for them,
Oh,
and I makes me nervous to do commissions. But everybody says, "Oh, it's so cute, though." And so when they say that, I'm like, okay, I'll do a commission.
so now tell me exactly what a commission is because I don't
Well,
know.
commission is like they say, okay, I want you to paint my dog. I'm gonna send you pictures, and then you look at the pictures, and then you paint their dog.
I would be nervous too.
Yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking
Yeah.
because especially if you haven't ever met the dog, you
Yeah,
don't know
the
the dog,
personality.
you don't know their personality.
I mean, me and you are dog people,
Oh,
so
I
they
am.
have
Yeah.
personalities.
I've probably done about 10 or 15 dogs.
Okay.
Now I've done a cat. I had a goat.
A goat?
A goat. Her name was Flora. What's his name that just bought Ted's place?
Harrison.
Yes, Joe Harrison. He bought it. He had a goat, and actually, its name was something else, but I had named the painting Flora because I did a big flower thing with paint
Oh,
in it,
okay.
and he loved it. And he said, I did have to rename it because I had to name it my goat's name. But he said, I have it in my breakfast room. I look at it every day, and I just love it. I said, that makes me happy.
That exactly. That's what makes you happy.
That's what I do it for.
And
Make
that's
people
cool.
happy.
And not only does it feel good to your soul, but like you said, you actually
Yeah.
get to share it with other
Yeah.
people as well.
Yeah, that's
So-
why I do what I do.
That's awesome. I love that. Do you
Share
have
the
anything
love.
else you want to tell us?
Oh gosh. Can't think of anything else. If they want to book a party, I'm really not doing much kid stuff anymore. I feel like I'm just getting to that age where I'm not really in tune with what they like. And so I tell him about Terry.
Yeah.
If they
But
want,
you do parties, like birthday parties I'm talking adults now, for like
Yes,
adult
yes,
parties and
adult.
get-togethers. And
Get together.
I know you had some at Cornerstone Church. You
Yes,
had
I've had
some.
some there. I'm going to do a couple of private ones this summer for people at their house. And so I've got some things lined up. I just don't have anything like definite.
Well, you're retired, so
I
you
am
kind of get to do
retired,
that.
So I can do it when I want to, how I want to.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. I love
And
that.
And I love that.
Well, and I think it's really cool. And I'm sure this summer you're probably going to go to a few more retreats.
Yes. Actually, I was so disappointed because I was supposed to go back to Kansas to the whatever craft house. You'll have to look it up. It's this,
Whatever craft house.
yes, it's
Okay.
in Kansas, Newton, and it's a 3-story historical home built in 1901. That's all she has there is art retreats. They don't live in it. It's just for art retreats.
Wow.
And she,
Why don't you start one of those here?
you know what? Clay and I looked at that house across from Jack's, the one with the big magnolia tree.
Yeah,
Girl,
that would be perfect.
couldn't afford it for one, but it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
We looked at it for that, and I thought about doing that. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, I'm too old and tired. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot.
That is
and,
a lot.
And plus, it was just a lot of money.
Yeah.
Somebody bought it.
Did they? That
Yeah,
is a beautiful
and they're
home.
fixing it up. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but yeah, it even had an apartment. I was thinking, I could rent that
Yeah.
apartment out, and that would help with the rent and everything,
Yeah.
but it was gonna have to have a lot of stuff done, rewiring,
Yeah.
but, oh my gosh, when we looked at it, it was still full of all the original antique furniture.
Wow. Who owned that? Do you know?
I can't remember what that man's name was, but, he passed away, and I think he might only have one son or something, and that son
Just getting rid
is
of it.
mhm.
Sold it.
Yeah,
Sad,
yeah,
but
I
it
know.
is a beautiful home.
Oh, I've always
We've
loved
actually,
that house.
I love that. Actually, I love that whole
Oh, I
stretch.
love Louise Street.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just you can't find a prettier street in the
Oh,
United States. It's
no,
just beautiful. And
no.
now that they fixed the roads,
Oh, yeah, so much better.
so much better. For
Always
sure.
loved Louise Street. Drive down through there and think about
That's
I
cool.
went into the Brooks's mansion when I was in high school and
Yeah,
fun that was.
great
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah.
Great.
And David, when I was in the flower shop,
Mhm.
David took me into a lot of those houses.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to decorate for all those women for Christmas.
Ah,
And so, I was young, 19, 20.
my age when I was working for
Yeah,
you.
and I was going with him to help him decorate those older homes, and that's what I
Oh,
like.
beautiful.
I tell my husband, I said, "Okay, when you're out and about, I need some doors and windows with character." And he goes, "Can you explain what that means?" I'm like, the glass knobs,
Yeah.
and the original windows and
Yeah.
stuff. And he would
It's
bring
not
'em
in
home.
perfect
Yeah.
shape. It's
Yeah,
got some
might have some
crack-
paint peeling off. And so when we had the other studio, we decorated with all that stuff he had found. It was pretty cool. Did you ever come down there to
Oh,
Local Color?
is that the one local color? I don't
Yeah.
know about. I think I was on the truck when
You
you did
probably
that.
were.
Yeah.
Sherry, Quinn, and I had it.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and we did really well for about 4 years, and then it just kind of, trickled down
As
like
business
most
does.
things do.
Yep. As
Yeah.
business does.
So, and we said if we ever had to start paying out of our own pocket, we were gonna close it. And for 4 years, we never had to use our own money. That's how well it did. But we did a lot of kids classes.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
You and Sherry have been together for as long as
A
I've
long time, and we
very
have
long
kind of
time.
the same style.
Yeah.
And
Great lady as well.
oh, yeah,
She
very
worked at the
creative.
florist too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm still working for Bob's Printing.
I know,
Woo!
right?
Thank you, Lord, because I don't want to work down there.
She takes your place.
Yes, yes. I don't want to be on the computer all
I
day.
hear you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Miss
So-
Tara, I appreciate you coming and visit with me and showing me a little
I
bit of your
enjoyed
art.
it. Yeah.
She's got some beautiful things. Go to her web pages and her Instagram. Again, give me your number again.
903-277-9003.
All right. And if you have any questions or any stories you want her to tell you, I'm sure she's got plenty.
Yes, yes. Please do.
All right, girl. We'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
later. You
Love
guys
ya.
have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.